A cord runs through the Bible, a message of protection, provision, and hope. That cord binds believers together and draws us to the heart of Christ, the very Word of God proclaiming salvation. For over a century, this mission has played a role in sharing that message through some of the darkest days of history, the darkest days of our lives. In the past 3 years, that provision and protection has been evident as we face the challenges of a pandemic, staffing shortages, and increasing needs. At first, few knew the ramifications of the coronavirus. We were told not to shake hands, but face masks and other measures were not even considered. Within days, however, the mission managers began to discuss the growing danger. Before the shelter-in-place was enacted, a plan had already been formed to limit exposure, protect the most vulnerable, and place our facilities into lockdown. However, we could not have predicted how long the shelter-in-place would last. When it finally lifted, we were all relieved, and like most, did not realize that this was not the end of the story, only the first chapter of this pandemic. Yet through it all, God has remained faithful. Our losses, though devastating, have not been high in number. There are very few hospitalizations from guests or staff. Only one staff member passed from death to glory, writing this testimony shortly before her passing. I know this could go either way, earth or heaven. I have a lot to be thankful for. I am ready to see Jesus. Are you? Keep pursuing God. The testimony of faithfulness shown by staff, volunteers, and supporters truly had an impact on our guests and our community. Through 2021, staff numbers declined for a variety of reasons. By the end of that year, we had half the staff prior to COVID, but those needing help continue to increase. Eventually, our drop-in center, The Outreach, closed in March of 2022. This facility is the only no-barrier shelter in our community, offering essential services like bathrooms, showers, and laundry to those struggling with addiction or mental illness and living on the streets. We held the doors open as long as possible, but had to repurpose staff to ensure we could continue to provide food and shelter. Our goal through this year remained fervent, to hire enough staff to cover operations at all our locations. On September 12th, we were able to reopen this location for overnight hours. We are so grateful for those with a burden to meet this vital need in our community, to show that Christ loves all. With the opening of The Outreach, our average is about 200 people every night at our shelters and drop-in center. As we have stated, our desire is to increase our facility at Michigan Avenue, to expand the men's ministry and potentially allow expansion at our women and children's shelter. Unfortunately, construction costs skyrocketed, transforming a $3 million renovation into well over $5 million. We shifted our focus to purchasing another location downtown, but we ran into zoning issues. However, the challenges of homelessness have not been unnoticed by our city. For the first time ever, city and business leaders are working with the mission as we seek the best means to fulfill our mission expansion project. Through the challenges of the past 3 years, we've experienced the same provision and protection that God has provided the mission for more than a century. While we may have, at times, faced doubt in the darkness that seemed to surround us, He enabled us to remain faithful to proclaiming His message of truth. Your gifts, encouragement, and support have helped continue to shine a beacon of hope in our community. The message of protection, provision, and hope is declared every night. The cord remains unbroken.